Hi guys, good afternoon. Welcome back once again to the EdWord, and welcome back to another installment of How to Get Excited For, where in today's video I'll be giving you guys suggestions and recommendations on how to get excited for the upcoming sci-fi film Star Trek Beyond. Sorry, that was kind of lame. Anyway, Star Trek Beyond opens in theaters this Friday, July 22nd. I unfortunately will not be able to attend opening night simply because I, like many of you, am going to Comic-Con. I will be down there all 4 days, covering all of the all of the breaking news, and talking about all of the new footage that we will hopefully see from so many upcoming shows and movies coming out in the next year, and just covering Comic-Con overall as best I can. Star Trek Beyond, I believe, is supposed to have some kind of premiere there. I'm not entirely certain or sure about that, but even if it doesn't have a premiere at Comic-Con, it is still opening all over the country July 22nd. And since we still have a little less than a week to go, I thought I would give you guys some suggestions and advice on how to get excited for it. Now, of course, the most basic way you could get ready for Beyond is to watch the previous two films that came before this one. The 2009 reboot, which was great. Oh, it was so good. Such a good movie, Star Trek. Ooh, such a good movie. Well done, Mr. Abrams. In fact, it was that movie that gave me hope and and confidence in when they announced he was going to be directing Episode 7. Because I wasn't entirely happy with the idea of Disney buying Star Wars and bringing the franchise back. I just wanted them to leave it alone. But when they said Abrams would be directing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a chance because I loved what he did with Star Trek. I'm going to trust him with Force Awakens, and I ended up enjoying both of them immensely. So you could watch that one, and of course it's a highly acclaimed sequel, Star Trek Into Darkness, where Benedict Cumberbatch plays Khan, of course. I know it wasn't everybody's favorite Star Trek film, but a lot of people still very much enjoyed it. So obviously you can watch those two movies to get yourself in the mood for Beyond, which will be the third one in this new franchise. However, if you were not a fan of the first two films, but you're still a Star Trek fan, here's some other recommendations you can do to get yourself in the mood for Beyond. For starters, you could watch some of your favorite episodes from any of the Star Trek series. I have only seen the complete series of Star Trek, and I've seen most of Next Generation, and I've seen all of Deep Space Nine. I recently binge-watched Deep Space Nine, and I loved every second of it. I say most of Next Generation because there's some episodes that just do not sound that interesting or appealing to me. Other ones, though, are extremely appealing and exciting to me, and I loved them. And I've also seen the entire original series as well. But you don't necessarily have to binge watch every single series to get ready for Star Trek Beyond. Just watch your favorite episodes. For example, from the original series, you can watch one of my personal favorites, Balance of Terror, where the USS Enterprise, under the command of Captain Kirk, pursues a Romulan warship which crossed the neutral zone and has attacked several Federation outposts. Great episode. Very suspenseful, very exciting, highly recommended original series episode. You could also watch the classic episode Arena, the more memorable one where Kirk fights the Gorn in a battle to the death, of another very entertaining episode. Another good episode from the original series was Journey to Babel, where we meet Spock's parents and all of the diplomats are aboard the USS Enterprise when they come under attack, and murder is abound on the ship, and there's conflict between Sarek and Spock. Another great episode. And then you can watch another one of my other favorite episodes called The Devil in the Dark, and this happens to be the personal favorite episode of William Shatner, where the USS Enterprise goes to a mining planet where they have to discover who or what is killing all of these miners in the deep shafts of this planet, and they discover it's this creature, and it's a really great episode. Moving on to Next Generation, I think what is probably my all-time favorite Next Generation episode, simply because of the ending. And those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know why, is the episode from Season 3 called The Defector, where the USS Enterprise, under the command of Jean-Luc Picard, who's now commanding the ship. They take aboard a Romulan defector who warns them of a pending Romulan invasion of Federation space, and it's a great episode. I won't reveal the ending of it because it is like one of the best moments on television ever, but I would highly recommend it in terms of Next Generation episodes. That one is probably my all-time favorite. And of course, there's the classic two-parter episode, The Best of Both Worlds, where Jean-Luc Picard and the Enterprise fight the vile, nasty alien race called the Borg, which threatens the existence of the Federation, if not the entire Alpha Quadrant. And that's an excellent two-parter episode. A lot of fun, very exciting. Another favorite episode of mine from Next Generation is called... Where is it? Oh, reunification, where, of course, Spock makes an appearance in an attempt to reunify the Vulcans and the Romulans, and the Enterprise gets involved. Another very exciting episode. Okay, so that's what I would recommend for episodes. Oh, before I forget, for Deep Space Nine, I would highly recommend two episodes that are not, it's not a two-parter, but it feels like it could be, from Season 5. Basically, it features the Romulans, Klingons, and the Federation all teaming up against a really nasty race of aliens known as the Dominion. It's a great two-parter episode. The first episode is called In Purgatory's Shadow. The next one is called By Inferno's Light. Is that what am I getting that right? Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying that right. In Purgatory's Shadow is the first one, and then By Inferno's Light is the second one. Both of them are Season 5 Deep Space Nine. Great series overall, but those two episodes are my personal favorite. Also, Tears of the Prophets, where we actually see a combined fleet of Romulan, Federation, and Klingon ships all side by side working together to attack a Dominion base, and it's an awesome episode. All right, so moving on from the TV series onto movies, my personal favorite Star Trek movies are Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, because it features my personal favorite Star Trek villain, Commander Krug, played wonderfully by the talented Christopher Lloyd, aka Doc Brown from the Back to the Future franchise. He plays the nasty Klingon commander who's obsessed with learning the secret of the Genesis weapon, and gets into a memorable fight with Kirk. I won't spoil it for those of you who still haven't seen it yet, 30 years later. And of course, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the one that happens before that, is also quite good, as we all know. But one of my all-time favorite Star Trek movies is the one from 1991 called Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. This is the one I own and I watch on a regular basis because I enjoy it so much. It's the movie where the Klingons and the Federation, after years of hostility and brink of war, finally make peace and become allies. But of course, there are tons of enemies and obstacles who don't want that to happen. And the USS Enterprise, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, all of our favorite characters are thrown into the middle of it. And it's a great watch. I think next to Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, Undiscovered Country is my personal favorite Star Trek film. But I also enjoy the rebooted franchise, which Star Trek Beyond is a part of. And I'm looking forward to it as well. I don't know when I'll be able to see it. Hopefully opening weekend if I'm not too busy or enjoying myself at Comic-Con, but I definitely intend to see it, and I hope you guys do too. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here on the EdWord for another edition of How to Get Excited For. I hope you found this video helpful and somewhat entertaining. If you have suggestions, recommendations, and advice of your own of how to get excited for or how to get in the mood for Star Trek Beyond, please feel free to sound off down below. I'd love to hear from everybody. Thanks again for stopping by. Don't forget, Star Trek Beyond opens in theaters this Friday, July 22nd. And don't forget to check out the EdWord for regularly posted videos and updates regarding the coverage of Comic-Con 2016. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And of course, until next time, Kapla!